Today marked the start of the 48th edition of the Vuelta ao Algarve in southern Portugal. 800 k's and almost 13,000 metres of climbing over 5 stages, with 2 summit finishes, 1 time trial and 2 days for the sprinters. The first of which was today, 199 kilometres between Portimao and Lagos on the south coast. 2 KOMs and 3 intermediate sprints along the way. With the final third predominantly flat, this looked like one for Quick-Step Alpha Vinyl, Alpecin-Fenix and Intermarché Wanty Gobert to control for Jakobsen, Malia and Kristoff respectively. It took around 15 k's for the break of the day to pull clear of the peloton. 4 riders, the Spaniard Asier Echeverria, joined by 3 Portuguese riders, Fabio Oliveira, João Matias and Hugo Nunes. With the big teams controlling behind though, the gap never went over the 4-minute mark, and coming into the final 50 k's, it had come down to just over a minute. With the prospects of crosswinds on the horizon though, the nerves grew, and in the fight for position, we had a crash. Juan Sebastian Molano of UAE Team Emirates, the biggest of the names to hit the deck, and he would be unable to contest the sprint finish today. Up front, as they fought for the final intermediate sprint of the day, won by Hugo Nunes, the gap was down to just a handful of seconds. And soon after that, the inevitable catch was made by the peloton, or what was left of it. It was a group of around 60 riders at the head of the race, including former champions of this race Remco Evenepoel and Geraint Thomas, plus most of the big-name sprinters. A little later, along the narrow, exposed roads on the run into the finish line, Alpecin-Fenix put in a team attack on the front, looking to further reduce the numbers. And reduce it they did, although that was down to a second big pile-up as much as the pace being injected at the front. Lars van den Berg of Groupama FDJ, the rider most badly hurt, but he did thankfully make it to the finish line. From there on, it was a tailwind and slightly downhill run towards the finish line in Lagos. And so the speeds were incredibly high. Alpecin-Fenix on the front, but the full lineup of Quick-Step Alpha Vinyl riders behind waiting to take on the lead-outs. Under the banner marking 2 k's to go, and such was the pace of Remco Evenepoel, gaps started to appear behind his teammates. Such was the speed, it was less of a sprint and more a matter of survival in the final few hundred metres. Yves Lampaert, the second last man, swinging off, leaving Bert van Leeuwenberghe to hit the front with 400 metres to go. It was an armchair ride for Jakobsen, who could afford a glance over his shoulder to assess the situation. He made his move inside the last 200 metres with Jordi Meijers of Bora Hansgrohe on his wheel, but the Belgian was no match for the Dutchman. He took a convincing win on the opening stage and his 3rd win of the season so far. 3 wins from just 6 days of competition, not a bad strike rate for Fabio Jakobsen in 2022. It was Meijers who would cross the line in 2nd place on the day, but he was later relegated for veering off his line in the sprint. 2nd, therefore, went to Brian Coquard and 3rd to Alexander Kristoff. For the full results, head over to the GCN app, click on Race TV and the Vuelta ao Algarve race poster. We'll be back tomorrow for highlights of Stage 2 summit finish, and you can catch live coverage of the action on GCN+. See you then.